Hello, my name is Jennifer, and recently a very unpleasant story has happened to me. To be more specific, I became the girlfriend of a real school bully. The relationship brought me a lot of problems. Let me tell you everything from the beginning. I went to a regular school and led a very regular life. I had friends with whom I was often hanging out with after school, as well as loving parents who always took care of me and helped me with everything. I just tried to study well and not cause any particular problems to anyone. In short, I was an ideal daughter and a teacher's favorite. I was a real good girl. I was also a class monitor, and I got along well with all my classmates. We always helped each other and tried to create a friendly atmosphere at school. Our class could be called ideal if it weren't for one but. The major bully of our entire school was in my class. His name was Bill. He was a very tall, broad-shouldered, and well-built guy. Even just a look from him sent shivers down one's spine, so he had no friends. In addition, he always initiated fights and got involved in various brawls which caused him to end up in the principal's office. Once, because of him, several high school students had to go to the hospital for a month because of numerous fractures. And all they were doing was standing up for first graders that Bill was trying to steal lunch money from. Well, at least that's what people were saying. Different rumors have been spread around the school, and I did not always know which were true and which were not. In any case, I tried not to mess with this guy. I didn't know anything about Bill's personal life and family, and I didn't want to. I tried to minimize the chances of ever running into him, but unfortunately that wasn't possible because I was the class monitor, and one way or another I had to have contact with all of my classmates, including Bill. Once I ran into him in the hallway when I was in a hurry for a class and I wasn't watching where I was going. As I hit him hard, I fell to the floor, and Bill didn't even stumble. When I saw his huge silhouette, I was so scared that I lost the ability to speak. He just walked by without even looking at me. I sincerely hoped this was our first and last meeting like that. However, as bad luck would have it, from that moment on, Bill began to haunt me everywhere. Not only did the teachers consider it a good idea to make us sit at the same desk, but they also gave me different tasks related to him. For example, I was supposed to give him some printouts with the assignments or tests that he had missed. In general, school went on as usual and there were no signs of trouble until at one of the lessons I caught Bill looking at me. At first, I did not think anything of it. What's the big deal? He looked at me, so what? This did not bother me until I realized that Bill began to invade my personal space. He followed me everywhere, in the hallway, in the cafeteria, in gym class. I could not even talk with my friends without interruptions since he was always there. He was waiting for me at the school gate, and more often he sat down at my desk. Because of this, I could not concentrate on the lessons, and during our breaks, I tried to get lost in the crowd. My classmates were afraid to even come up to me, as they often caught Bill looking at them with irritation. Even my best friends began to avoid me. The real nightmare began when, during one of the breaks, Bill just grabbed my hand and led me out of the class. None of my classmates even tried to stand up for me, and my friends just turned away as if they hadn't seen anything. I felt so upset that I almost burst into tears. I understand their fears, but is this a reason to abandon me? He took me to a deserted place and said that he wanted to be my boyfriend. Out of fear, I immediately agreed, and only after that realized what I had done. In short, that's how my relationship with Bill began. At first, he tried to be nice and courteous with me, but he didn't manage to do it very well. He dragged my book bag along the way to school and helped take off my coat, but he did it in such a careless manner that I was worried he would tear my clothes. In addition, at any moment, he could grab a notebook or even a phone out from my hands for no reason without explaining anything. I completely stopped communicating with my classmates. Bill threatened everyone who dared to approach me. Once, he even drove my friend away in a rude manner when she tried to talk to me. I did not know what to do with this, so I just put up with it without saying a word. At the request of Bill, I began to help him with his homework. In fact, I just did everything for him while he was sitting next to me and looking at his phone, watching YouTube videos or some sports match. I wrote his essays, which he couldn't even properly read out loud. But that wasn't all. Once, during a lunch break, some guy ran past me and accidentally spilled his drink on me. A dark spot appeared on my blouse, but it wasn't that bad compared to what happened next. Bill decided to show off his manliness and stand up for his beloved girlfriend. He grabbed that guy by his collar and lifted him in the air with one hand while preparing to punch him with the other. I immediately started screaming and asking him to stop this while demanding to put the poor guy on the ground. I even had to grab Bill's hand and literally hang on it to make him listen to me. And this was not the first case when I had to rush to the rescue of others while protecting them from the anger of my boyfriend. I did not want to become the reason for any of his fights. I even felt like a hero when I tamed this wild beast and saved his victims from their fate. Bill was really annoyed by my behavior, and once he even shouted at me, saying that I should not poke my nose into his business. Also, I really hated Bill's bad habits. I asked him to refrain from them when I was next to him, but he often forgot about it. Apparently, he just did not take my words seriously, which was also really annoying. Sometimes I even had to pick up trash after him and put it in the trash can myself. This made me very angry, but I couldn't say anything to him in response. Bill has always been rude, even towards me. I did not know what to do with our relationship and whether it is possible to call this a relationship at all. But one event put everything in its place. This happened in one of our gym classes. My classmates decided to play soccer while the teacher was busy. Bill was standing next to me when a soccer ball hit his head with great force. My classmate ran up to us immediately and started to apologize, but Bill did not even listen to him. He just grabbed that guy by the shirt and began yelling at him, threatening to mess him up. I immediately rushed up to them and begged Bill to stop, but he didn't listen to me at all. When he was preparing to hit, I stood between him and the guy, hoping that it would change his mind. But believe it or not, Bill hit me. I fell to the ground, and after that, he stopped. My friends immediately rushed up to me and were horrified by what they had seen. There was a bruise under my eye, and my nose was bleeding. I burst into tears because of the pain and started shouting at Bill that I never wanted to see him again. After hearing my crying, the teacher immediately rushed up to me and took me to the nurse's office. There, I was examined by the nurse. Later, I ended up in the principal's office where Bill and my parents were already waiting. Mom immediately hugged me, and Dad was really mad when he saw my injured face. As a result, Bill was registered with the police, and my relationship with him finally ended. My classmates were no longer afraid to approach me, and I was able to restore communication with my friends, as well as return to my usual school life. I watched Bill from time to time and could not help but notice his loneliness. All his attempts to talk with someone always ended in failure. People around avoided him and didn't even want to be next to him. At some point, I felt sorry for Bill. I realized that he just didn't know how to make friends. Yeah, it may sound crazy, but I decided to give Bill a second chance. But not in a relationship, of course. After class, I came up to him and offered to be friends, but under certain conditions. In particular, fights, threats, or other types of aggression were forbidden. I can't say that Bill liked my conditions, but still he agreed. When my friends found out about what I had done, they thought I was crazy. It took me a lot of time to persuade them not to avoid him and not to be afraid of him. First of all, I taught Bill to smile. In the beginning, he was not successful in this at all. He was even angry with me, and according to him, he felt like a complete idiot. However, daily training began to bear fruit. At least it was not scary to approach him anymore. Of course, everything was much more difficult with his reserved character. Bill was not used to controlling his own emotions and considering the opinions of others. Each time when he raised his voice at me, I just left silently, making it clear that he needed to calm down. My classmates were watching what was going on with interest, but there were not many people who wanted to talk. At school, Bill was still considered a bully, which was partly true. He managed to get involved in a few more fights, which really made me upset. But it's worth remembering that change takes time. I believe that he will succeed in overcoming his own character and find true friends in the future. Thank you for listening to my story. Why do you think bullies become who they are? Share your opinions in the comments. I would be interested to read them. Also, do not forget to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel.